Hello everybody, welcome to another video. So today we will be reviewing a product that I've been given. So Aoocci were kind enough to give me this C6 series CarPlay screen. Now I have had this since about December and only just got round to unboxing it. Been very busy with other things, so apologies for the delayed video on this. But today I'm going to open it up, have a look around it and show you what you get with it, and then we will fire it up and put it on a bike at a later stage. So the reason it's taken me so long to get this video out is I didn't really know what to do. There already is quite a lot of reviews of these products on YouTube. Now everybody with the motorcycling YouTube page seems to have a review on one of these, and I didn't think mine would be as good, and also I wasn't sure which bike to put it on. So I thought today what we would do was just go straight from unboxing and show you guys what you get in the box. So you're seeing this the same time as me. So we'll open up the box and see what's included in this system. So this one does have the front and rear cameras and the tire pressure monitoring system. So I think there should be quite a lot of things inside this box. So first of all, you get the screen itself, which is a 6.25-inch display. It does seem quite well built, to be honest. And then you do have the waterproof style cables on the back. So you have a power, a controller, and then front and rear cameras. So basically, you don't need to use all of those, I guess, if you don't want to use the front and rear cameras, but I would suggest that you do, because you don't want to just have those bare ends there, because they won't be waterproof if they don't have the plugs in them. So putting that to one side for one moment, see what else is in here. Wow, lots of stuff. So it comes with a screen protector, which is pretty good. So that means you don't need to buy an additional screen protector for your product. And then we have lots and lots and lots of brackets. Wow, lots and lots and lots of bags. So there is also more in here. So you've got your extension cable for your camera, your remote controller. That I think is a sunshade perhaps for the top. Is that what that is? So it is pretty cool that it comes with a sunshade, because I've seen people 3D print things like this for other screens, whereas this comes with it included. So that's pretty nifty. Looks like you would just need 3 screws in the top of there, which I'm sure will be included in one of these many bags. This is the power box. So it looks like you plug that directly to your battery. So you've got your positive and your negative terminals there to go from your battery, and then that will take that, I imagine, down from, oh, I don't need to imagine, it says. So that takes that down from 12 volts, from 12 to 30 volts down to 5 volts. So I suppose you could also have done that with a USB, he says, and then just like that. There is also a USB option. So if you have a USB port on your bike, you can just plug it straight in with USB, which means you don't need to use this. So you won't need to run that all the way to the battery and have the extra work and effort of fitting that. You can just plug this directly into the USB. So we'll use this USB to power this up on the table, just so we can see the features of the screen before we even put it on the bike. And then lastly, another extension cable for the camera. These are the cameras. So these are like a little bullet style camera, and they do actually have a dot on them so that you can get them level. So there's 2 of those. Imagine this one's identical, and you just decide which one you're putting on the front and which one you're putting on the back, and plug them into the loom accordingly. We also have a 64 gigabyte SD card, so you don't need to buy an additional SD card. It all comes included in the price. If you've seen the price of memory cards at the moment, you'll be glad it comes with this one. Right, let's have a look at some of these brackets. So it doesn't come with instructions as such, it just comes with this operation guide, which doesn't tell you too much. It just gives you a bit of a diagram of how to install it and an accessory list, but it's not that comprehensive. And there is some QR codes to get you onto the website for the connecting the mobile Phonito View the Recorder, which I think translates to how to connect the cameras. And these brackets are probably for different sizes of bars and different mounting points, which you'll just need to figure out for yourself, I guess. So this is quite a nifty little thing. I was thinking that that was for like a bar to go through there, or was for clamping something, and I was expecting some sort of socket for that, but I think that is the socket. So that goes in there like that, and then when you tighten this bolt, that holds that in position like this, and then you can use that as a swivel, and then this would go onto your bars somehow, and that does have a like a fixed position there at 180 degrees, so you can only have that fixed in two positions, either there or there. And these spaces in here will be to make that for smaller bars, like a GPS bar, which can only be say 12 millimeters sometimes, or fit on the handlebars of your bike. Now I'd be interested to know in the comments if you think I should be doing videos like this, where you see things at the same time as I do, in the kind of perspective of we're just opening this up and working it out as we go along, or should I have worked out all of this first before even switching the camera on? So we have some more brackets here. Oh, I wonder if they're for this. Yes. So this is the remote control, which could fit on your bars with these brackets here. So they have like a finish where they can go into each other like that. And then there'll be some more of these spaces can be used for that. And then this has a few different buttons on it. So one of them is looks like a camera with like a swivelly McDooey. So I'd imagine that is to go from the rear facing or front facing camera. There is a camera button with a house, so I imagine that takes you back to the home. And then there is a telephone stroke play button, which I guess is for answering a telephone or playing media. And that would just plug in to the back of one of those. Now, one thing that we've not looked at or talked about yet, the tire pressure monitoring system. Now these are valve caps. Now you have a F and an R on those, so front and rear. So you would screw them onto your valve stems and they will give you a tire pressure reading. So they are for different size of bars. So we might try and fit this to the bar that goes across on the 800. On the Vosges 800 Rally, there is like a GPS bar that goes across the top. Now at the moment I have a quad lock for the phone on that, but I might swap it out for this and see what this is like behind the screen on that kind of rally screen. I think this is the camera mount. So your bullet cameras go in there like that, and then they have like a fitting on there. That's kind of like a GoPro style fitting mount. So they go in there like that, and then that's can swivel up and down. So if you mount that somewhere on the back of your bike, that becomes a swivel to get the angle that you want for your camera angle. Now I see that there's these sticky pads, which is fine. So if you stick them to the sticky pads, I'm not sure what the point of these holes are for. I would imagine that that's if you do want to bolt it through somewhere. So you've got two cameras and three mounts. So I think these little screws here are for mounting through there, maybe. Yeah, so they could screw into something, but if you're going to put them on your plastics, you're going to end up with holes in your plastics. So my bet would be not to bother with those screws. Right, last bag that we haven't opened. Well, we haven't opened that one either, but that one is just more spacers which will go with these brackets here for the handlebar mount for your remote control. Now I guess you don't have to fit the remote control. If you've got no space on your bars and you don't want to fit the remote control, you could just leave it off, but bear in mind that it would mean that this here would be open to the elements and could get water inside there and could corrode. So if you're not going to connect your remote up, I would recommend probably wrapping that in some tape, some electrician's tape or something like that, to try and seal that and tuck that out the way of the weather and the water best you could. So as I was saying, yeah, I'm rambling on, going backwards and forwards, but like I say, you're seeing it at the same time as I'm seeing it. So I've worked out what these rubbers are for. These will be for mounting this plate to the actual screen, just as some vibration support. So now we have these 4 screws. And they're actually security screws. So it's kind of like a Torx, but with a hole in the middle. So just some extra security. I mean, they are readily available tools, but it's not something that maybe an opportunist thief would carry with them. So you do need to bear in mind this isn't a quick release type thing. So you can't just take it off the bike when you go into a cafe or you stop at a hotel, or well, stop anywhere and keep the bike outside. It is permanently mounted to the bike. So it would be permanently mounted to the bike unless you loosen this clamp and then just take the ball off, but then you would have to unplug each of the plugs as well. Right, I'm going to use the world's smallest screws to install the sun visor, sun shield. So that's the sun visor on. Does look pretty cool. To be honest, it looks alright, doesn't it? So yeah, apologies for this long-winded video with all these parts scattered all over the table, but I just thought I would do something different than just showing you it on the bike and riding around in all different types of fancy environments. This is the sort of thing that I hoped people would want to see before they bought one, as in what it comes with, what do you get, what's the quality of the parts like, what brackets do you get, will it fit on my handlebars, what are the cameras like, how do the cameras mount. So I'm hoping that I'm answering these questions for you before you purchase one of these. And if you do want to purchase one of these, you'll find a discount code that I've been supplied down in the description below. So you'll be able to get 22% off the list price of one of these products. So thanks very much to Aoocci for sending me the product and also giving a discount code so you can save as well. Right, I'm going to clean up this table, get these brackets and everything out the way, and we'll just be left with the important bits, and we'll get this thing plugged in and get it fired up on the USB now and see what the screen's like.